Yeah, my fault, y'all. I hit the run. Must have hit a button, but yeah, it's the true essence of who we are is not this body that our souls are having an experience in. You know, and when we realize and tap into the reality of that, I know what happens to me, what happened to me, and I can only surmise based off of my experience what happened to anybody else. Is that your perception will change. You'll be able to view things from a different set of lenses. And it's normally the other lens that you can't see, not these two lenses, And when you're looking from that other lens, it's a whole different vision. Trust and believe me. That's probably where that saying in the Bible and in those other scriptures says, "Those who have eyes, let them see." Yeah, because you can't see the things that you be able to see with your third eye that you can see. It's different. You'll never be able to see with these eyes what you'll be able to see with your third eye. But in order for you to get to that point, you have to tap in, and that is a process. You know what I mean? It's a process. But you know, anybody willing to go through that process, whether it be the estrogenic fortitude or the testicular fortitude, because it's not sweet. You know, actually, in my opinion, it take more heart, to deal with your own shit, just as critical as we tend to be of others, than it do to do a lot of shit that, people may think takes a lot of heart. It's a lot easier to do the wrong shit than it is to do the right shit. You know what I mean? You know, and when I say deal with your own shit, I'm talking about, peeling back that onion, getting back to the state of innocence that you once had prior to society and all its tentacles and just life in general, you know, whether it be people, circumstances, or whatever the case, you know, chipping away from you and taking from that innocence, which in turn is going to cause you to erect defense mechanisms. And you got to think about it, man. Like, trauma tends to be, something that stems from way back in this lifetime, from childhood things. And a lot of times, man, we carry those wounds and that baggage with us and never deal with it. And the cliche saying, "Oh, that's just me. That's just how I am." That's a cop out, man. That's a cop out, man. You know what I mean? And I know because I used to use it. You know what I mean? I wasn't really ready to deal with my shit. I wasn't ready to deal with all that hurt, all that pain, all that, all that bullshit, because it's not sweet. You know what I mean? You got to think about it. Your inner child was stagnated from the time you put up your first defense mechanism to protect yourself, your heart or your feelings, or or yourself physically, whichever way it came. You know, and we go throughout life carrying that stuff, man. So it's a process, man, to getting on an operational level, meaning like a verb, an action, as far as implementing things into your life, and when you have to deal with, the inner you. I know when I was practicing Al Islam, they used to always make reference to that inner jihad, and this is exactly what I'm making reference to. Just like with the Christians, they talk about being born again. Man, that shit don't just happen because you go to some structure and get water thrown on you, nigga. You know, that is not, no, that is not going to that is not going to initiate the inner transformation, that equates to, you conquering and subduing your ego, i.e., your lower self. You know, that is actual process, man. And for some of us, it takes years. For some of us, it don't. But it's a process, man. And anything that was traumatic enough for you to erect a defense mechanism to alter who you are in attempts to protect who you are at the core level, those emotions are still there. You've just compartmentalized them, put them in a box, and put them to the side. We used to call it stuff and feelings in the key program. Anybody been there, y'all know what it is. But I mean, like, to sum that part up, it's a process, man. You have to, back to the main thing is unlearn and relearn. You gotta unlearn all of the shit that was all of the fucking gruel and the toxic, the toxicity, all the stuff that was put into you. You know what I mean? But the thing is, and I had to realize this, I'm my own person. I live within my skin 24/7. And that's what once I realized that, it made it easy for me to be and do me. Damn what other people think, how they feel, or what their opinion is about how I should be living or what I should be doing. Damn all that. Live your life. I'm living mine. You dig? But yeah, man, it's a process, man, and you gotta, really deal with your own demons, man. You gotta revisit your shadow self, to conquer yourself, and get in tune with the true, authentic you, But prior to me being able to understand and properly implement these universal laws in my day-to-day existence, I had to do that. It's going to be different for everybody. I'm just sharing my experience. But yeah, man, when it comes to, being fixated and focused, and a lot of times we get obsessive, as it relates to, chasing dreams and goals and whatnot. And we have such an emotional attachment to a specific outcome, and sometimes that can cause issues, because the universe has its own way of doing things. Again, you have to learn how the universe works. We so fixated and focused on what our oppressors taught us and what we were taught by our parents who learned what they learned from the oppressors. I don't want to get, sidetracked or nothing, but it's just so many different facets and elements to any one subject based on, the chronological order of how things transpired in history up to today. And if you're unaware or not privy to that information, then, this is how it is. This is how it's supposed to, nah. This is how somebody's idea, the same when it comes to manifestation. Back centuries ago, people had ideas. They knew that, consciousness creates reality. Your thoughts become things, and this is why, man, I choose not to have any external influences on the way I live my life today. I don't need no help doing me. And this ain't got nothing to do with having no love lost for nobody or nothing else, man. It's just that, I'm paying attention to me now. I'm doing what I need to be doing and feel like I want for my life. That ain't got nothing to do with nair, swinging dick or titty external to me. So, this is just another quick little, if anybody's feeling some type of way, because I done backed up and disassociated. It ain't nothing personal, man. Ain't nothing personal, man. But this is my life, man. And instead of me taking life how it come and being a chump for life, I'm collaring that bitch up. Motherfucker, you gonna go over here. You gonna do this. This where we going. I ain't just taking what life give me no more. Later for that, it's too late. You should it's too late. You know, you should have. Whatever the case, it should have happened before I woke the fuck up, because it's too late now. I'm the sole author and controller of my life, with no exclusions. So and getting back to the subject matter, African spirituality had a lot to do with that, man. When I was in Christianity, wasn't working. When I was in Al-Islam, wasn't working. Even more science. Nah, I mean, I learned from all of them. I learned from all of them, and there's still things to this day that I hold and still do. From practice, I love the Dean of Al-Islam, but at the end of the day, when I realized the fact that the Pale Arabs, who are not the original Arabs, and that shows in how they don't have a love for the land that they in. They don't have no emotional attachments to none of those structures over there. You know what I mean? But it's deeper than that. That's just a way that you can kind of like see it, but they're not the original Arabs. The original Arabs were melanoids. You see what I'm saying? They look like us or darker. They look like me or darker. But back in those times, they were darker. You know what I mean? Once Yaqub did what he did, and they started mixing and matching with the lighter complected in the Caucasians. You know what I mean? That's where all these different complexions come from. Then the slave trade on top of that. But again, back to what I'm speaking about, the Arab slave trade. And then it's over there today. It's some places over there today. They deal with our people fucked up. Just like the Mongolians. You know what I mean? They over there in the Asian part of the world. You know what I mean? They deal with us fucked up, and they come from us. They come from our ancestors. And I don't want on a rant. You see what I'm saying? But it's just, it's crazy, man. Like how, let me get off that and get back. Gotta unlearn and relearn, people. You know what I mean? All the bullshit that we was, purposely, miseducated about ourselves. How can somebody that don't treat you right teach you right? How can you even trust that? History is best qualified through research. Do some research on history. Not the bullshit that they teach you in their curriculums that's bought and paid for and controlled. Told you, man, in another video, I believe I told y'all, Rothschild and Chase, the one who originally amassed the wealth for the Chase family and the Rothschilds family. I think it was Meyer Rothschild. But not Meyer. It was I forget the specific Rothschild. I think this was in the 1700s. 17 or 1800s. Don't quote me on none of that. Like, again, I didn't prepare for this video. I just been a few days, and I have plenty of topics of discussion to speak about, and I didn't want too much time to go past without me putting some content out there. But if you look it up, you'll find that he basically said, I'm not interested in producing thinkers. I'm interested in producing workers. So they took certain aspects of the curriculum out. So that way you can go from pre-K to master's degree and still not know, well, I say 12th grade, and still not, know shit about finance, have no financial literacy, and then they want you to go into debt and have to pay like a mortgage just to learn certain things, and they still not giving you all of the knowledge. They got the real knowledge, and they give us what they want us to have so they can control us and have us in positions of inferiority. Give me a job, boss. Can I get a job, boss? That old thing. When not too long ago, our people, was killed off down south. Y'all heard about Black Wall Street, you know, basically because we were outshining those other ethnic backgrounds. We were outshining them. We were outdoing them. You know, we had, you know, bus stations, airports, all kind of shit. And they didn't like that, you know, and they seen where that was going to go. So what, you know what they did? That was actually the first terrorist attack on American soil. You know, with that, you know, they don't got none of that shit in the books in school. I wonder why. But, you know, back to the subject, man, everything is attached to a universal law, man. You know, so, you know, when you get to a point where as though you ready to, you know, deal with your unresolved trauma, scars, wounds, and inner conflicts, you know, that come from people, circumstances, or whatever external to you, so you can put them bags down and go ahead and move on with a light heart and get on to the real meaning of life. What are you here for? What's your purpose? What contract did you enter into as a soul to willingly come back into a body at this time, knowing all this bullshit will be going on? Yeah, see, that's another video too. It get deep. But I ain't never heard or learned about none of that stuff in none of them religions. None of them. Till I got into what? African spirituality. And that's where they get it all from. You know? So, I mean, cosmology is where, you know, is where all religion come from. You know? I'm getting off point, man. Let me get back. Basically, man, you know, and I'm going to cut this off because I keep straying away from the principle, you know, the subject matter, man. But it comes a point, man, in all of our lives, man, where you're going to have to surrender or you're going to have to suffer, you know. Because the thing is, man, you know, the definition of insanity, man, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, you know. And instead of me pointing the finger and talking about somebody else, I'm going to talk about me. You know, I come from the street life and got you know, what they call a good job. You know, it's just, these are just upgraded plantations, man. But, you know, and don't get me wrong, I did a lot with the job, man. I did a lot, you know what I mean? But I still wasn't happy. I'm trading 95 or upwards of 95% of my time for that couple of hours that I was getting. And I didn't even get all of that. Wages ain't to be taxed. That's another video. You see what I'm saying? But they have us filling out the wrong tax form purposefully so that way they can take that money. You look it up. Wages are not to be taxed. That's a part of your personal property. But you know, based on me keep going off the subject, man, I'm going to cut this one short, man. Hopefully somebody got something out of what I shared, man, and can benefit from it, man. You know, and you know, if nothing in this video resonated for you, man, I appreciate you giving me a look anyway, man. Out.